Tell everyone how you're surviving, because I think what's interesting is, when was it? In October we met. Then Delaney went on maternity leave starting February.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be like a short episode to give everybody an update on how we're doing internally as far as Zen. And I'm really curious for you to share, how are you surviving? Can you describe all the things that you do since Delaney left?
Can I describe them all? No,
Yeah.
it's a list. Delaney is irreplaceable.
For sure.
So a lot of it, I mean, just the amount of customer support she does is incredible.
Yeah.
Between like phone calls and texts, like she would get emails. So it started off from like me working a little bit with that, and then all of a sudden getting pounded with it. And it was like, whoa, okay. So at first I think I struggled just because the way I operate, I want to get back to you right away, like within 5 minutes. Like, let's resolve this. But if I have multiple people coming at me at once, it's like, okay, let me prioritize. They need this product added, but they're not going to place the order till 2 days, so it doesn't have to be done right away. This person, they want to know their order's been delayed, like what's going on with it, and this person like has an emergency. So prioritizing that, I think it took me a little bit to get used to it, because my people pleasing, I'm like, go, go, go. So that was a big adjustment for sure. And then also training, onboarding, going from working basically just myself and helping other people, but then now I'm in charge of a team. That was a huge, I think, shift for me. So I'd like to get feedback from the people who have been under me now since I've taken over Delaney, because this is a whole new position for me. So I want to hear good and bad. You did great doing this. You need to work on maybe communication or whatever it might be. So I'm surviving. Now I'm finally like, second month of doing it, like I got it. April hopefully is going to just sail by.
Don't say that.
I know, but then Delaney will be back, and I know I'm still going to be doing a lot of it because now people have my number, they have my email, they'll still come to me, which is fine. But I've definitely like relaxed a little bit more.
And you have 3 weeks to go.
And I have 3 weeks, yeah.
Until she comes back. Mm-hmm. Tell me what's really interesting, and honestly, I don't even know why this happens, but I'm really curious. We're an online platform. Mm-hmm. People can buy everything online. Mm-hmm. Why do they still ask you to add products in a shopping cart? And it's not. Is it every office? How does it happen? Like what requests do you get?
No, it's not every office. Sometimes it's instruments, which like I think our catalogs, we have some instruments, but obviously not every. And then also I think sometimes it depends on the distributor. Like they want to order specifically from this one versus we have a same or similar product from someone else they could purchase it from. That's what I've found, at least. I'm sure Lana gets it a lot more in the chat with like adding products and stuff like that. I just get it a little here and there.
That's awesome. And so how do you prioritize that? That's just so interesting.
Well, example, our podcast was delayed a little bit because I was just adding instruments for an office. It didn't take me as long because I'm a pro at it now. But typically, like, depending on what I have going on, if I have to jump into training in, like, 10 minutes, I'll say, like, can I get this done for you by the end of the day? Like, when do you need it? And half the time it's like, oh, yeah, like, whenever. It's totally fine. Like, they're not looking to place the order right that second. They just want the product there so when they do, they can place it. But my paranoid mind is like, I got to do it now.
Yeah. When did you learn that key question? When do you need it by?
I think I only learned it when it was like the stress was like piled on. Like I had 5 things I had to do. And I was like, I'm just going to ask, like, can I get this done at the end of the day? And it was, yeah, sure. Like, Easy. Just asking that question, I think, relieves so much stress. And half the time, like I said, like, people don't need it right that second. They're just saying, can you do this? Like, and that's it.
Yeah. How do you make sure that people really, really like you? And it's true. I got Cheryl telling me that Jill is the best.
I think it's because I respond, like, so quickly. Like, that I'm on top of it. And I take a lot of pride if someone asks me something to get it done. Like, whether it's that day or, like, whatever timeline I might tell them, I take a lot of pride in knowing someone is waiting on me for something and making sure I follow through. I think I have a decent amount of follow through, so I think that's what people like. And also, I'm nice.
Yes, you are.
I'm not going to give you lip about, like, something.
And they don't have to wait on 1-800 number for too long and click 2 or click 5.
No bad elevator music while waiting.
Yeah.
None of that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Or I like to give, like, some type of answer. If I don't have it, I'll figure it out and I'll get back to you. Like, I think that's one thing I learned, too, is, like, can I get back to you? Asking that question has helped a lot.
What are you going to do in May?
Take a breath.
When Delaney comes back?
I mean, it's still going to be a transition, I think, because there are going to be offices that I onboard that maybe I still want to see through to the end versus just handing off, because it just will run smoother that way. But I'm looking forward to, after that, after maybe like 2 weeks, having it like slow down, being able to analyze and like dive into things a little bit more. Like, okay, when I was doing this, was that really the best way for us to be doing it? Was it the most time efficient for me? Was it the most time efficient for our team? Like, looking at that, I think, is what I want to do.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm so happy I don't even need to think about it.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It could stay off your plate. You don't have to take on that.
I don't even have a plate for that. Analytical, as soon as you say analytical, we need to go back and analyze.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
that's what I like. I don't know if you like doing that, but I like the data and analyzing and seeing like trying to figure out, is that what made this office successful, or is that like where their struggle was? I like that stuff.
What I was telling you today, the reason I don't necessarily like analytical is, in order to get to a certain point, you need to invest time.
Mm-hmm.
So we are reconciling PO to invoice to purchase to like to payment, and reconcile is a fancy word. We're just trying to balance. Let's just say you placed an order with company A for 15 items, total this much, but that company sent 3 shipments. That's 3 separate invoices. And then in the meantime, they give you a credit for something, and then what actually went in a credit card. So we're trying to put it all together.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fascinating work.
Yeah, time consuming.
But I can't sit. I just can't. I love doing it. Don't get me wrong. I love the result. I don't like the process.
I think like the process, like what needs to be done. It's just the time consuming part that you don't like doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm totally fine with the time consuming part. So
Really?
if your brain can work and then you're like, this is what I need, like pull the information, I will do it. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know. I like things that take time. Like one of my hobbies I like to do is puzzles. I don't know if I can picture you sitting at a table for like an hour or 2 working on a puzzle. I could see you just like, forget it, like getting up and being like, I'm done. Like this is just taking too long. I can see the picture. It is what it is. Like that's it.
Right. I don't know. Do you listen to music when you work?
I do, or podcasts.
You can listen to podcasts while you work?
I do it, but I don't retain the information. Like, I will have to re-listen to that podcast.
Oh.
Sometimes.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even listen because it distracts me.
I think it's more so the background noise of, like, people talking. Because sometimes music can distract me too much to where, like, I don't know, I end up singing or I end up saying, oh, like, I want to find this song. I don't know why. But if it's, like, an hour and a half podcast, I'll just let it go. And if I paid attention, I paid attention. If not, I'll re-listen to it
Right.
another time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting if it's a good material, you can go back to it and listen to it.
Mm-hmm. It's usually crime podcast I listen to,
Yeah, I know,
or
you
like
crime.
or paranormal. One of the two.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what was the big adjustment for you coming back full time, even though it's been a while now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was the big adjustment for you? Because you were always with us, right? So
Yeah.
it's like,
I will say, going from being physically at an office and then working from home might have been like the biggest adjustment for me versus like anything company wise or like switching fields, anything like that. I think coming to like working full time at home has been the biggest challenge because I have to remind myself to like move around, like that I need to be doing something physical. Otherwise you sit and like I focus and then I realize, oh, like 4 hours have gone past and like I haven't really moved. So I think that has been the challenge. And also being at home with the dogs because they always want my attention or like are barking at something and it will drive me nuts. So that's why sometimes I change locations. I go to the library, like just have to physically be somewhere else.
interesting.
Yeah.
Dogs don't understand work from home philosophy.
Absolutely not. They think you're home, it's time to party. Like,
Right. Yeah.
I get all your attention
Yeah.
when that's not the case. But how do you work from home?
Can't.
Any advice? Like, no. People are too much of a distraction.
I love the routine. I love getting in a car.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you make phone calls while you drive and you get somewhere. You have an office. I like the separation because I really like to compartmentalize my life.
Mm-hmm.
So business is separate, personal is separate. So my wife and I, when we drove from Austin to Chicago, we're at Westgate Dental Care.
Beautiful
recording
office.
this. Yeah, one of our clients. Other clients?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're one of our clients, and so we drove from Austin to Chicago, and we were talking about how some of our friends have businesses, and they have mixed their business with personal a lot. So, for example, like they will buy a super fancy some printer, let's just say, for an office, and they'll take it home, right? Or sometimes they will ask, these are not my friends, but I've seen this happen when a doctor would ask an office manager to go to the laundry and pick up their own personal stuff.
Really?
Yeah. And so to me, that's I don't judge anybody. I just can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's just like the business is business.
Yeah. Like if you were asked to do that, you would be like,
I would be no. Yeah. Why would I need to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So and I'm really good at compartmentalizing things in my life. Like if personal takes too much time, I would dedicate time to that and I get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And if business takes a lot of time and I can't get the personal, that's fine. But yeah, that's my thing. And I need to compartmentalize everything.
Yeah. What I've noticed with working with like the onboarding, there's a lot of husbands and wives that work together.
Yeah.
Whether one is the doctor, one's the office manager. Have you ever interviewed any of like couples in the industry? Because I'd love to know how they separate.
That would be a good entire podcast thing.
Yeah. You could do a whole series.
Couples in dentistry.
Yeah.
You want to lead that?
I have a couple of offices that I know.
That would be super cool.
They might be interested, yeah. Because I'd like to know, like, how do you... I mean, you're with each other, like, 24/7.
Yeah.
Like, how do you make that work?
Yeah.
And how do you leave home stuff at home, work stuff like at work? Or does it just work so smoothly because you both have the same passion? So it's like, it just works. I don't know.
Yeah. Cedar Park is a good example. They make it work.
Is there a doctor and office manager?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They make it work. It's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell, like, the doctor's mind and the office manager mind are very different.
Mm-hmm.
And doctors, they shoot for the perfection, and a lot of times with the team, it's hard, and they only see black and white,
Yeah.
which is good. And then you need somebody from the outside to help level that, and this husband and wife, spouses kind of thing is yeah, I like that idea.
Isn't it interesting?
Yeah.
I've personally never done it, so like I don't know how I would do. I feel like personally I don't know if I would like it. I feel like I would need some time alone. Or like,
you know the difference?
I don't know.
I was thinking about it. When my wife opens a restaurant, I would really like to be involved. Because I love everything about restaurants. It's like, it's my thing. Like, if I think about opening an office, a physical office for Zen, it is one quiet area for all of us to go in and make calls, one large area to do the seminars, like this setup, and one large kitchen. Like, that's how I think about the office. Like, I want Italian coffee machine. I want a big fridge. I want to mix stuff.
Yeah.
I want all the Japanese knives and all of it, right? So, like, I would love that.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah. And I was thinking to maybe even make a show where we invite dentists on the show where they cook their favorite dish and they tell their story at the same time, and I help them.
That would be cool. That would be fun. I would watch that. Or
right?
Listen to that. Yeah.
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 So, but it's like, that's the vision. Like, and back to the story, why I tell this with my wife, we talk about it, how to split it. We're going to have to really sit down and separate things and not get involved in each individual things.
And I guess to what extent are you involved would be like.
Yeah. And another part important is she's going to make the final call. It will suck for me because my ego is ridiculous. But it's her business. I'm helping. I will disagree until my teeth are falling.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, she will have a final say and say, you know what, I get it, but I'm going to do it this way. And I will have to agree with that. That's the only way I see it.
Yeah. I mean, it could be the same version as it is now. Like, if you talk to her about work
or
ask her, like, her thoughts, like, you're probably like, that's great, but I'm going to do it this way anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. What do you think about the new things we're doing at ZenOne?
I'm excited for it. But I think it's also interesting, too, because I've been with Zen through a lot of different stages. So to see where you envision it and, like, where it started from my practice having Zen supplies in their office to working on, like, this new thing with you, I think is really cool. And really exciting to see just how you piece things together or what you envision, what you want it to be. Basically, I'm seeing it from, like, the ground up now versus the other side as a customer first. So it's interesting.
Do you feel we're taking a step back?
A step back in what way?
You see how with ZenOne, it's less on a technical, more we spend time at the offices and we're doing things that are difficult to scale?
I don't see it as a step back. I see it as you're gaining, like, that detail in what offices could use. Like, what is going to help them more than, like, what we initially thought, basically. Because we had thoughts. You had thoughts before.
Well, yeah, we all did.
But you weren't in an office to the extent that you have been over the past month. So I think you've been exposed to a lot more but have been able to see a lot more. So I don't think it's a step back at all. I think you're paying attention to, like, those details now and trying to get it right. Not that it wasn't right before, but we had an idea versus, like, being in the office to begin with.
Yeah, it was the best we could do at the moment.
From what we knew.
Yeah, from what we knew. Now it's a little different.
Because you know more, or you know at least different things now. So, yeah, I think it's exciting. And I think I don't know. I'm hoping that offices will be able to feel that you've been like in the office. Like they'll be like, oh, like, yeah, like they get it type of thing.
I wonder how would that get translated? Just because like the battle between an autoclave and a dishwasher, because one takes an hour and the other takes 45 minutes, and you're like, shoot, I got to look at the schedule and see when do we start the dishwasher. And then at what point do you make a decision, we need to have 2 of each so that we don't have to be dependent on the time, like how many columns you need to run. Like all these little details are fun. But when do people really, but at the same time, do they really even need to know that right? Like what if it just translates into a product? Because we use it now.
Yeah.
Right? We place orders. We use it on a daily basis. And there's so many things I hate about it that I just want to change. Like, who came up?
Whose idea was that?
Right. You're like, Alicia, can you check the documents? Who came up with this idea?
Yeah, right. Who last edited and whose name is on it?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is we have, like, it's interesting how it's 2023, we started 2016, it's 7 years. It's almost 7 years. What is surprising to you the most? Like, I think you've been 5 years altogether. For example, I can share with you, like, a lot of times I make a mistake thinking Zen Supplies is an old platform, and I make judgments in my own head. And then you talk to people and you're like, and they're just absolutely love it. We don't have a lot, right? So like, it's not the whole dental industry is using Zen,
right?
But we do have some incredible customers, and we've interviewed a lot of them. So on the podcast, and that was my surprise, that in my own head I created this thing that that's this platform, who would like it, and I would create my own judgment around it, and then you have people who actually depend on it. So to me, that just blew my mind.
I think you're harder on it because you're the creator. It was your idea. So I think you judge it a lot more than people who are just seeing it for the first time and who are utilizing it, or it actually like makes a difference in their ordering or in their daily organization in the office. So I think you're a lot harder on it than a lot of people are, which completely
Could
natural.
be.
Yeah. I think my surprise is, I don't know, I feel like I go back to a lot of the people are still here and working for Zen that were here when I initially started, which I think it blows my mind because I think it's so cool. And I think a lot of people nowadays don't stay with a company like that. So as a company, as a CEO, you are doing something right for your employees to have them still be here from the beginning. I think that's great. And I think that's amazing from the internal side of looking at things. Because I come back and, hey, Alicia, hey, Tanya's still here, Lana's still on the chat, whatever it might be.
That's awesome. They're great people. Yeah, I always look at the companies, and there's a value when there's somebody that's been with a company for 15 years, and it takes both. It really does take both people to. It's takes two to tango. Same thing. Somebody really needs to want to grow. Yeah. Because the one constant change, what is it? The one constant thing about Zen is there's always change.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know. We'll find out soon. But even now, we're making changes. Where 2 months ago I said, no, this is the direction we're gonna go. We just literally flipped it on our head.
Yeah.
And then said no more. Just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it's hard not to judge yourself, though.
I know. I mean, we're all guilty of it. Some people do it more than others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Zen Supply, ZenOne, that's going to be an interesting conversation this year to see
where we go
with it.
Yeah. And how it changes,
Yeah.
morphs
Yeah.
from one idea to another. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right now, ZenOne customers should be raving about it. We're not accepting any more for pilot.
Sorry. Deadline's off. Sorry. Cut off time.
Cutoff time, we have to keep it small because a lot of it you and I are doing. We'll have Alicia join middle of April, and then we're building a whole technical team around it. But I think what I'm excited about it is finally have a full control, just like what we did today. We go on admin and we update all the shipment information. I don't do that in ZenSpy. I don't even know how to do that.
Yeah. I was going to say, do you know where to go to
No.
get that information?
No. And I don't know if I should admit it or not, but I don't. Like, it's always, can somebody help me? And there's always somebody that would do it.
Yeah.
Here, we've created a system that basically I can use it. You know, like,
Yeah.
like, all right, so if I can use it, if I know how to do these things, okay, good.
Right.
Yeah. And it's the first time we actually go in on like other websites, not other websites, but the vendor websites, and we communicate directly with vendors, just like today with one of the companies who requested the pricing. I love being involved like that. And for whatever reason, we didn't do it early on. I feel like small and very, very involved just for these customers that we have right now. I can only imagine what it's going to look like.
I think you've already learned a lot, and we're going to continue to learn a lot just from those offices and being in the office and doing more of like that detailed work, like what we were looking at today with the spreadsheet and everything.
Yeah.
And I think it's really exciting. Like, there's nothing, if it's going to be super exciting, it's also going to be a bit scary.
It is scary.
Yeah. Like, and I can, like, look at you, and sometimes I'm like, what is he thinking? Because, like, I can just tell, like, that wheel is spinning in your head, or you're stuck on, like, something. But I think it's just going to be amazing at the end. And it's just obviously scary right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of changes.
Yeah. The I don't know how, but I think back to your point about people on the team, is we got so lucky with everybody who's staying on the team and have been with the team for so long. And you know, we're talking about Delaney. I really hope that she's going to be staying with the team for a long time. I think what's really cool is getting the chance of building something again. Right? So I don't see our competitor building a second product. I just don't see them doing it. Right? And I don't judge them. You know, if you have investors, if you have people that give you money, if you have all these different things around you, that you're just stuck. And now, or you have customers.
Right.
Right? One of our competitors have a major customer that's dictating what they're supposed to do. Right? Somehow, with luck and everything else, we got in a position where we can build another product. We can take everything we've learned, mix it with our like resilience and our ability to learn and like strive for perfection.
Yeah.
To truly like, no, let's make sure that they only do one thing. Just like the sign up with a new product, they only enter their license and everything else is like pulled. And you get that first impression. They're like, wow, how'd you do that? Right? Well, it's easy. But they don't know.
Right.
You
they
get
don't
that
see
first
the back.
impression, and everything else after that should be building up on that.
Yeah.
And I mean, we get the second chance to do that.
That's amazing.
You believe it? Yeah.
Amazing. And I feel like, I mean, I don't know the tech world all that well, but I feel like to start something new just after 7 years, like, that's huge. Like, I don't know any company that really, like, does that.
Yeah.
So I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
You're seeing what worked, what didn't, and okay, let's create something else based off what we learned the past 7 years.
Yeah. For a lot of people, they probably don't even know what we're talking about.
It's all a mystery.
But there's so much excitement. Just
Yeah.
just wait till you see it. It'll be fun.
We're dropping little Easter eggs.
Right.
here and
Yeah,
there.
right before Easter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add as we're wrapping up?
I would just say stay tuned.
Mm-hmm.
Check out the podcast. We've had so many great, I think, interviews and like chances to talk to people. And if you want to be on it, just reach out to us.
Yeah, for our offices. Let's do it.
Absolutely. Just text me, call me, let me know.
Yeah.
We'll get you on.
Do you give your Google Voice number or people text you your
No,
number?
it's my Google Voice now.
Okay.
Yeah. I took that note from Delaney and
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Google.
Yeah.
My Google number. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jill. I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too. It's
We
great
worked
to
for
see you.
2 days together. We're going to
Yeah.
do probably another maybe Friday or maybe next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
That's fun. And we're just a quick story. I was trying to see where we can work while I'm here.
That hospital that was renovated, maybe?
Yeah, maybe
The good
there.
acoustic?
Yeah. And then I reached out to some co-working space.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, why co-working?
Yeah.
Well, Westgate. Yeah,
Why
and I
not?
keep in touch with them anyway. So
Mhm.
like once a month I would text.
Yeah.
Or Ray would text me.
Yeah.
And so it's like, why? There's so much space. Look at how much space they
know.
got here. And then we got a separate room,
I
dedicated
know,
room
it's
just
quiet.
for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all we have to do is just
Bring
coffee,
pizza and coffee.
Yeah. We would do that anyway, actually, right?
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Even if we're not working from here, that's what we'd do anyway.
No, yeah. I was going to say, when I stopped by that one time I brought for my cleaning, I think I was like, hey,
Right.
want some coffee?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. Good
Let's do
things
it,
to
Jill.
come. Sounds good.
It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
Thanks all.
All right. Have a good one.